Hi everyone, welcome to this video in which I have worked away a bit of my pile of shame as announced. In this video we'll have a look at my Space Wolf army. It was a lot of brushing up, finishing up on models that I had started on and basing models that were otherwise finished. So anyway, this is my fighting force as it is at the moment. Let's dive in unit per unit, see where the models came from and how I use them. First up are the Hounds of Morkai. They were kit bashed from leftovers I found in a bit box. I had done an army deal on eBay, got a lot of models and got a lot of bits. I looked up the Hounds of Morkai online and then went to work on kit bashing these 5 models. I haven't yet figured out how to properly use them on the battlefield. Moving up, we have the Wolf Scouts. They came with the army deal I just mentioned. I must say I really love how they play on the battlefield. I think they're very flexible, their way of appearing and disappearing to where they are most needed. Only problem is the equipment on these old models is not up to date with the latest edition of the data sheets. So I had to buy some new ones to make it work. So I kind of keep the pile of shame big enough to stay busy. Next up are my Blood Claws. These guys were already painted when I bought them, but they had a really metallic look. They almost looked like Iron Warriors, so very silvery, very metallic. So I redid the power armor. I added some sprays of blood to let them really live up to their name of Blood Claws and give them a real feral look. So far, these are my favorite Space Wolf unit. They're cheap, points-wise, for Space Marines, and real deadly on the charge. So, really love these guys. Then let's go to the ones that started my 40k adventure, the Assault Intercessors from the Recruit box from last year. When I first did them, I made a total mess of the shoulder pads, so I had to redo those. I'm still not 100% happy with how they turned out, but I consider them battle ready. Well, battle ready, I've never used them, since I always go for the Blood Claws in battle. So, any ideas on how to use Assault Intercessors or just why I would use Assault Intercessors instead of Blood Claws, more than welcome. Let's have a look at 2 characters, a Chaplain and a Librarian. Both models are from Age of Sigmar. From the Age of Sigmar starter set. I chose them because, well, Stormcast Eternals are basically Space Marines in AOS, and I just added the backpack power unit, on the back of course, and the holstered bolt pistol, and then used the painting scheme of the Space Wolves. Why did I go for these models? Since I really love the Stormcast Eternals armor. It's very ornate, it's very detailed. This would well suit a character in a Space Wolf army. Moving on to the biggest unit, the Wolf Guards. These are all 3D printed models. I adapted them by putting them in custom positions, switching up their helmets that were classic Space Marine helmets and giving them more Viking themed ones. I also gave them all the same equipment, storm shields and heirloom weapons. These guys really pack a punch in close combat with their invulnerable save of 4+, so great unit to put into battle. Then a very small unit, the Grey Hunters. There are only 5, more are on the way. But I don't really feel the need for them, since they don't quite fit the up-in-your-face melee playstyle that seems to suit my Space Wolves so far. They came with the army deal I did, so I still have a bunch of them, but I'm in no rush. Then we have a dedicated transport that also came with the army deal I did on eBay. Tweaked it a bit so it can be used as both a Rhino or a Razorback. It has a lot of firepower for a transport, but I don't have that much experience with using it so far. Just painted it, put some symbols and some dirt as if it had been riding through some mud, but that's about it. From the same army deal came these Skyclaws. You get the idea, it was a very big army deal with a lot of models and all that for just slightly more money than a standard combat patrol. Right, back to the Skyclaws. I slightly tweaked a few of them, took them off their bases and raised them, so it really seems as if they are swooping in on their jetpacks. Next unit are the Blade Guard Veterans. They are conversions of Space Wolves with Chaos Warrior cloaks, and I then added Stormcast shields as Storm Shields. I field these models as Blade Guard veterans, although Blade Guards usually wield swords, but what self-respecting Space Wolf chooses a sword over a power axe? So, Blade Guard veterans. Then 3 aggressors with flamers, just so I have access to torrent weapons. They're a real hard-hitting unit. These models are also 3D printed. I went to look online for the GW price, but 45 euros for 3 models is just insane. So 3D printed these. I won't be playing any tournaments, so I can safely go with them. Last unit of today, the Predator tank, was again part of the army deal. I just added a wolf on top, added some symbols, some mud, same as I did with the Rhino. Packs a lot of firepower. That is if you actually manage to hit something, which I've not been that lucky. So let's zoom out. This is my Space Wolf army for the moment, as it's painted to a battle-ready standard. According to the newest data slate update, this will be 1,345 points, which is more than enough since we usually play 500 points combat patrols. But it gives me the opportunity to switch it up a bit. I've just been using the Army Painter speed paints, really like the result they give me, just to go fast and to work your way through some models. For next month, what can you expect? During the month of March, I will be focusing on a Drukhari combat patrol and see if I can work my way through the models so I can field Drukhari next month. Stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, and see you next month for a next Work Away the Pile of Shame video.